Muhammad Umar Farooq biological video. Please make sure to subscribe, like and share. Ask the question for answer and comment about the artwork. You can also answer question to each other for solving the problem in the comment below. So today here we will discuss about the phylum Arthropoda, which that is the invertebrate, and that is the phylum Arthropoda. Arthro means animal with jointed legs. It means it is Arthropoda is related to the insect. So these phylum contain more species as compared to the another phylum. So there is made up of different phylum, that is the subclassification of this phylum. So remember that this video is the part 1, and next I will make a new video with part 2 video about the arthropod. So here the phylum Arthropoda, which animals show basically show metamerism with tegmatization. So next further we will discuss about the tegmatization. A jointed exoskeleton and their ventral nervous system and dorsal nervous system are present. So these ventral nervous system, basically some species contain a ventral nervous system. So the central nervous system are present in this arthropod. We had also discussed about these things in the previous video, which they are related to the animal kingdom. So this arthropod basically is contain a subphylum. So this subphylum of arthropod we will discuss in this video is here. So these branches is made up of subphylum is here. So that subphylum contain a different classes, but we will not understand the classes. We will just overview about the subphylum and just understand the structure of that. So here is the Trilobitomarpha, which that means the marine, and this is the extinct species, and head, thorax, abdomen are present, and pair of antennae are present by. On the other hand, the biramous appendages made up of two branches. It means the double leg like structure is known as the biramous appendages. If we will talk about the triremous, that means the tri mean three branches in the same appendages in the one leg, for example. So next is the chelicerae. So the chelicerata are present, which contain a chelicerae. So the body is prosoma and opisthoma, and chelicerae used for feeding. So the on the side of the mouth, which contain a chelicerae, which that is using for the piercing and the feeding, etc., which that is injecting stinging, for example, just like a other. So another is the merostomata is the marine. Book gills are present, or book lungs are on opisthoma. That is the example is the horseshoe crabs and lemurus. While on the other hand, arachnida, which that contain terrestrial, and book lung is also present, and trachea both are present, but basically four pair of legs, example spider. So next we will also discuss about the trachea as well as book lungs. So these book lungs is the different how, because next we will discuss also. So here is the pycnogonida. So the pycnogonida is the reduced abdominal, while the sea spider is the example, and the excretory system are present, and respiratory system is well developed. While here is the malacostraca, which that is the crab, and that is the shrimp and lobster is the example, but we are not going to understand the detail. So that is overview. And copepoda is the copepoda is the antenna for swimming. Swimming is used by the antenna and used for the other example, smell, taste, etc. sensory neurons are present in the antenna. While is the maxillipeds for feeding those, so that is the maxillipeds is using for the feeding. For here is the Cirripedia, which that is the sessile as adult. During the adult it is going to sessile, and marine, it means the sessile is live in the substratum, and calcium carbonate valves are present. While here is the important thing is that here is the Ramipedia is present, and that is Ramipedia is basically the subphylum, and Crustacea is the also. So the cave dwelling and single species crustacean, and that's a biramous appendages, it means. And here is the uniramia. Uni means the single ramus. That's a heavy, basically heavy with single appendages with not branches, and one pair of antenna and one pair of mandible. So the one pair of mandible is used for the cutting, etc. And that is basically on the other hand, the crustacea is the aquatic, we had also understand. And here's the we will discuss in the next video, inshallah. So here is the cephalocardia present. Cephalocardia mean this is the basically heart-like structure is due to the cephalo mean head, so that is why the and brachiopoda is a filter feeder. So it's all detail in this chart are showing in the figure, which that kingdom Animalia is contain a phylum Arthropoda subdivision, and that's the subphylum Crustacea, class Ziphisora, class Arachnida, subphylum, and that's all is the basically is the subphylum, which is given by the detail with a diagram. So the class Chilopoda, class Diplopoda. You can stop this video to understand this diagram and understand that watch the structure and their basically structure as well as their function and their name. So that is the classes also. Subphylum is Uniramia will be go into the class Chilopoda, class Diplopoda, etc. So you can stop this video to watch this content. While here we will discuss about the general structure of the insect. So this general structure of the insect is here, which contain abdomen, thorax, and head. So the major part of this insect is the head, thorax, and abdomen. So these wings are present, two pair of wings are present, fore wings and hind wings, while that is the appendages we can give the name. So here is the antenna, which used for the vibration. Sensory neurons are present and senses of different vibration, sound, etc., as well as the chemoreceptor are present is here. But in the compound eyes, which contain lenses. So there's different lenses, multiple lenses known as a compound eyes. While our eyes is a complex eye, not a compound eye, because the compound eye is made up of simple lenses with the multiple lenses. So here is the forewing, and that is hind wing is also present, and here is the femur, which that is appendages, and here ear spiracles, mandible, maxilla, and thorax, and here is the abdomen. So that's appendages is just like a human being is contain a femur. So here is the long leg is known as a femur, and here is the hind wing, which using for the active flight. So active flight we will discuss in the next video. So here is the tibia and tarsus. So what is the function of this? We will discuss about that. Basically, first of all, I want to say that no metamerically segmented. So it means the tegmatization occur, and tegmatization mean the internal segment will be not occur while the digestive system, etc., is the organ system is present, and that's not metamerically segment like annelida, for example earthworm, which that is the metamerically segmented. And here is the compound eye, and ecdysis is occur. That is ecdysis mean the particularly exoskeleton shedding periodically for the growth and development. And on the other hand, that is the metamorphosis is present, hemimetabolous and homometabolous metamorphosis. We will discuss in this video. So walking, running, swimming, crawling, creeping, climbing, flying, this is the active flying or passive active basically is used. So these character is the due to the movement and their locomotion. So here I can draw this basically tegmatization. For example, upper side is the contain a segment, but inside is not segmented. So the whole digestive system is covered with the whole organism. So this is the tegmatization. It means the upper side is the metamerically segmented, but it is inside is the production of metamerically stegmatization. So these the metamere is present and permit the insider to work single organ. So that is why. On the other hand, earthworm, which contain a different organ in the different segment, is known as the metamerically segmented. While here the exoskeleton. So this exoskeleton we will discuss here is the structure of the insect, which contain a cuticle is the upper part, is made up is known as the exoskeleton. So exoskeleton is made up of chitin, and chitin is the waxy polysaccharides. So the waxy polysaccharide mean it is the waxy lipoprotein containing and the water hydrophobic. So this hydrophobic interaction will be produced and the water will be not enter into the insect. So the barrier, and it is also used for the barrier immunity for the prevention of invasion of the pathogen, which that is prevent by this exoskeleton. On the other hand, during the shedding, viral attack can be favorable environment which can attack the virus. So that is the harmful effect of the exoskeleton. While here is the basically exoskeleton is the provides structural support, muscle attachment. So it means the exoskeleton attached with the muscle to use for the movement, and where the joint is occur, the flexible cuticle are present for the movement. So that's energy used with the attachment of the muscle. So here's the basically muscle attachment, and that's the impermeable of water and loss of water. So that is impermeable for the movement of water, so that water will not enter or excrete or move outside into the environment. So it is non-living, remember, and provides single layers of epidermal layers of cell. So the single layer which contain epidermal cell. So that means the epidermal layer. Yes, and that is you can understand that is the exoskeleton. So this exoskeleton is the dead, and it is shed by the periodically to use for the growth and as well as the development stage larva to adult. So remember, this periodically shedding is the important. Why? Because the exoskeleton is not prevent to grow, is not promote the growth. So that's promotion of growth due to the possibility for the shedding of the exoskeleton. So this exoskeleton is made up of different layers, where the inside is the living cell and outside is the becoming dead cell, and dead cell is the character is due to the tanning formation and the color formation due to the chromatophores are present in the cell which that provide the color. Due to the color is the made up of protein, and that is protein is the chromaffin are basically chromaffin or chromaffin like protein. Or on the other hand, the luciferin protein, which that is used for the blinking during the night time and the glowing during the night time, is the also character of the insect, which that means the luciferin protein used for the showing the color, different color. For example, inside of the sea as well as on the atmospheric environment. So here is the structure of skin which contain upper side is the exoskeleton, which that is inhibited by the movement of pathogen due to the dead layer. So here is the CT present, which that is the hair-like projection, and this CT is used for the vibration detection as well as touch or etc. That is attached with the sensory neuron, and is the lipoprotein is made up of waxy, and that is the epicuticle is part. Epicuticle is the upper part. It is also known as the hypocuticle because it is below the exoskeleton. So the exoskeleton is the upper side, while here is the hard pigment procuticle due to the tanning and the calcium carbonate deposition. So that is known as the sclerotization. Sclerotization. So this tanning will be formed is known as the sclerotization. So here is the downside is known as the less hardened polysaccharide. polysaccharide procuticle. It means the pro mean before, and this procuticle is made up of chitin, and that is the less hard as compared to the hardened pigment procuticle, which that is upper part of the skin. And here is the hypodermis and endodermis. Hypodermis is the basically contain a living cell, and this living cell basically hypodermis divide the cell to produce the exoskeleton. So this exoskeleton first cell will be divided to create the tanning process and sclerotization, and this sclerotization move upside, and the hypodermis will produce more cell, and the upper cell will begin to die and will convert into the exoskeleton is the dead and made up of vaccine, and that's prevention of water as well as a pathogen invasion. So that is the barrier immunity is like a human contain a barrier immunity in the skin, lungs, and digestive system, as well as other part. If for example the whole skin is used for the barrier immunity contain a different macrophage or different cells, dendritic cells, Langerhans cells. But in this case, here we can understand about this structure. While here is the leg, which contain a articular membrane, which that is a flexible, and the sensilla are present, bristle, pegs, lenses, and modification and permit gas exchange from the skin. So that the skin is modified for the gas exchange, because our lungs is due to the evolutionary process from this. Our lung is also skin but invaginate inside of the human body, which is used for the respiration. So just like this, a trachea is also present in the insect. So the ecdysis is the periodically shedding of exoskeleton for growth and development. So the development and growth is used by the ecdysis. So next we will also understand by the endocrinology of this system to periodically shedding of the exoskeleton. So here we will discuss about the excretion of wastes and digestive system. So excretion of waste is due to the Malpighian tubule are present in the cockroach, or for example the grasshopper, etc. So this is the, and digestive system is also attached within it. So here is the diagram which that show is the esophagus, which that is mouth using for the cutting and piercing or enzymatically activity to break down of the large particle into the smaller particle and go into the midgut, and that's go into the Malpighian tubule is attached, and this Malpighian tubule is absorb the salt, uric acid as ammonia, as well as the epithelial cells are present, and there's excretion through the anus, and that's the anus, and storage of the waste is the rectum and hind gut are present. So that is important. And next is here we will discuss about the metamorphosis during the developmental stages and growth stages. So how it's possible, here is the first egg will be produced, and egg convert into the larva in the tertiary environment, for example, and the larva can also go into the second stage of larva and third stage of larva. So these larva is equal to the adult just like this, and it can be reproduced. That it means the hemimetabolous metamorphosis. Hemi mean half and metabolous mean the changing. So this is the major example, and that's adult is the hair insect, which they are showing the figure. So that means here is the basically equal to each other. So here is the basically hemimetabolous or so next is we will discuss about the homometabolous or holometabolous. So holometabolous, the whole mean complete, so its life cycle complete to become an adult, while on the other hand the hemimetabolous is the half stage can be again reproduced. So the adult and larva is can be equal to each other for regard to the reproduction. So that's important. While is the holometabolous is used for the production of caterpillar and pupate formation, pupa chrysalis, and that's convert into the adult, and this life cycle is just adult while the caterpillar is the unable to reproduce. So that is the holometabolous. Holo mean complete. So remember. So next we also understand the respiration. So the respiration just our lungs. So just our lungs we can understand. So first of all, here is the metamorphosis, which that we will understand. Here is the same. Basically, here this same and these are the same. Regard to the reproduction, not the phenotypically, but the genotypically is able to reproduce, while the phenotypically it's unable to reproduce. It is unable to distinguish with a big because the adult is the adult regard to the holometabolous. So here we will also discuss next is the respiration. So the respiration mean the respiration is the three type: physical respiration, cellular respiration, and the physical respiration and cellular respiration, as well as the basically two type, and that means the breathing in and out. Here is the trachea is made up of basically ventral trachea and dorsal trachea. So these trachea are used for the breathing. So this structure is like this. So this is the structure which contain spiracles. So these spiracles are used to allow the movement of oxygen inside while the outside movement of carbon dioxide. So that is the spiracles here, and here we will also zoom out to check the hypodermis, and that is the cuticle is here, and we will also discuss about the mechanism of respiration is here. So remember about this. So here is the basically here is the structure of the trachea, which contain a valve. So this valve is allowed to move the air inside when open. So the partial pressure of the gases of the oxygen inside is the when low. Due to the increase of the carbon dioxide, partial pressure inside is the high. So the carbon dioxide move outside with the partial pressure checking, and that's hypodermis is here, and that is the spiracle is here, and that means the valve is present and the spiracle is used for the allow to move the air inside. So these spiracle, and here is the nucleus of tracheal end. So that is the tracheoles, which that is attached with the pipe like structure which contain a fluid, and that is known as the hemolymph. So this hemolymph is absorb the oxygen due to the importance of the presence of iron containing protein. So this lymph containing a hemolymph which that contain iron, and that is the duct which has attached with blindly attached and diffuse the oxygen, and carbon dioxide will be diffuse out and move outside due to the partial pressure changes. So remember, important is this. While this was the tracheal respiration, while we will also understand the book lungs. That's book lungs is the important things. Due to the book lungs also present the terrestrial, but it is also present in the aquatic environment. So this book lungs is just you should understand. Here is the book like structure which that is present, the leaf like structure, and this leaflets contain a lamella of lungs. So this lamella of lungs is due to the basically tracheal system, which that is a pipe-like structure. And when trachea will allow to oxygen move inside, so when oxygen will move inside, it means the oxygen will be moved from this like just like enter into the inside middle of the lamella, and that means the oxygen will be diffused in to the lamella to provide that is attached ultimately with the hemolymph due to the blindly ending duct, and that's provide the oxygen to the organ. So next we will also discuss about the circulatory system, so you will be able to understand the circulatory system and respiration how it's work. So here's the oxygen, and this oxygen is basically enter, and carbon dioxide will be backflow outflow due to the changes of partial pressure. So remember that partial pressure is the important for every animal. So it means our breathing is depend on the partial pressure increase outside. So the outside the oxygen will be move in, while the carbon dioxide increase inside the partial pressure. So that's the move outside in the pressure gradient toward the basically increase the inside pressure. so that pressure will move, the gases will move out toward the lower pressure. So here is the circulatory system we will discuss. So the circulatory system is just open circulatory system, while our circulatory system is the closed circulatory system. So the open mean here is the air spiracle which that is contain trachea, which that is blindly ended and provide the oxygen, and this oxygen will be, here is the auricle, heart-like structure are present, which that's pump the blood or hemolymph to the opening of the tissue and bath the tissue, just bath, not provide. So these hemolymph contain oxygen, and this oxygen provide the tissue and absorb the carbon dioxide and move back into, just like this you can see that here is the carbon dioxide will move back, and that's auricle will be allowed to again, and that's basically move toward the trachea and move carbon dioxide out. So I hope you make sense about the circulatory systems, respiration, exchange of waste, and metamorphosis and book lungs. So next here we will discuss about the receptor. So the receptor is the made up of sensilla. So the receptor means the new nervous system are present in the insect is like this. So here is the skin which contain a bristle. So this bristle is different type, trichome, bristle, or on the other hand the smaller thread-like structure which are used for the detection of touch, pressure, and vibration, etc., etc. While here the articular membrane are present which they are used for the movement of the bristle, and this movement will be provide the receptor cell to action potential, and this action potential go into the brain, and after the sensory neuron will interneuron to motor neuron will give a response. While here is the we will discuss about the light detection. So the lens are present. For example, the first we are discussing about the single lens. So it is made up of multiple lens is known as the compound eye. So its lens is contain absorb the light and lining light which will be sensitive cell are present, which that is the color light are used for the detection, and this light will be moved into the brain side of the insect is here, and after the integration give the response of the some object or something. So that is important thing. Next here we will also discuss about the vibration receptor, mechanoreceptor, which are used for the physical detection or physical awareness. So this structure is look like this. This structure is basically made up of terminal and contain a nucleus, so that the terminal cell are present which used for the vibration, and this vibration go into the scalopale. So these scalopale are present is here, and that is the sheath cell are present which they are surrounded by the basically ganglia, nerves. So this nerve is attached, and here is the basically sheath cell and cilium are present, and this cilium is attached with the sheath cell, and sheath cell is contain nucleus, and here is the ganglia. So this the ganglia cell is made up of the nucleus. So this attachment and ganglia cell, and that's the fibrous cell are present is surrounded by the ganglia, and thus provide the sensation by the sensory neuron to motor neuron, which that's effect and give the response. That is known as the reflex arc, is like a human body which they are used as a reflex arc. So next is the last one we will discuss, and next video we will also understand the more more knowledge about the arthropod is the next video. So is first video, and here is the brain which the endocrine system we will discuss, and that is the basically metamorphosis and periodically shedding of the exoskeleton. So here is the pTTH is a hormone which produce from the right and right neurosecretory cell, which that move to left of the glandular structure is known as the corpus allatum. So this corpus allatum is the corpus cardiacum, which allow to move the corpus allatum to produce the pTTH. So this pTTH is basically stimulate the parathoracic gland. So this prothoracic gland. So this prothoracic gland will be allowed to produce the actizin. So this actizin hormone is used for the periodically shedding of the arthropod, which that is the insect, while on the other hand the left side of the juvenile hormone production due to the right side of the neurosecretory cell into the brain to provide these both hormone is act as a developmental and growth stages. So the larva convert into the mold, convert into the pupa by the molting, and the pupal mold will convert into the adult molting, and these the periodically shedding to increase the structure to become a adult. So when become insect will be adult or periodically shedding. After the shedding, that will be inhibition mechanism to give the feedback to negative feedback to suppress that actizin and juvenile hormone. So this juvenile hormone is used. So this here is the become adult. So I hope you make sense about the endocrine system, circulatory system, receptor sensilla, reception and vibration receptor, book lungs, respiration. So that's all thing is done is here. Next video we will uh, understand about their adaptation and something new. You can also give the feedback to understand, as well as you can give the suggestion for making a new video about the zoological aspect. So this is the zoological video. Please make sure to subscribe. Thanks.